My name is Alice Garcia. I'm 28, and for most of my adult life, I thought I understood what loyalty meant. Stability, consistency, showing up for someone, even when life got messy. I thought that made me a good partner. Turns out it made me an easy one to take advantage of. Before I go any further, this is how my story begins. My boyfriend, my ex now, Owen Miller, 27, was a graphic designer with a wild creative streak and a habit of floating between jobs. I work as an IT consultant, the kind of work people joke about being boring. But it paid the bills, and when Owen and I started dating 2 years ago, I believed we were building something solid, a future, a home. He lost his job right after we got together, one of those freelance gigs that evaporates overnight. I didn't flinch. I covered rent for months, helped him redo his portfolio, even reached out to contacts who owed me favors. He eventually landed a decent position, and he used to look at me with this soft gratitude. "You're my rock, Alice," he'd say, kissing my forehead after a stressful day. Back then, I believed him. But even then, there were signs. Red flags I pretended were rose petals. Her name was Lily Carter, Owen's best friend from college. She was everything he admired. Bright, spontaneous, charismatic, always posing in pictures with adventure captions like, "Life's too short to sit still." She sold software for a tech company and had that magnetic personality people orbit around. Owen swore their friendship was platonic, and I wanted to believe him. But he lit up every time her name appeared on his phone. He'd show her memes, inside jokes, little moments we didn't share. They hung out one-on-one more than I was comfortable with, and whenever I gently raised it, he'd brush me aside. "Come on, Alice, don't be insecure. Lily's like a sister to me." But sisters don't usually send flirty emojis at 100 a.m. Sisters don't post selfies with captions like, "My favorite adventure partner, sisters don't laugh a little too hard at best friend jokes." And Owen didn't help. He'd compare us subtly at first. "Lily knows how to talk to anyone. She's never shy in a room." Lily surprised me with concert tickets. She's always full of ideas. Lily says I should be more spontaneous. Each time I swallowed the sting and told myself I was overthinking. I was committed. I was invested. I wasn't going to sabotage a good relationship with jealousy, or so I thought. Then came the wedding. Owen's cousin was getting married at a beautiful venue outside the city. String lights, rustic wood beams, live band the works. Owen was bouncing with excitement for weeks. He loved his family, and this was going to be his moment to show me off. Or so I thought. The morning of, he was cold, snapping at little things like the necklace I picked out. "Don't wear that one," he muttered. "It looks stiff." I blinked. "It's the one you said you liked." "Well, Lily says simple jewelry photographs better." She helped me coordinate my tie, too. I should have seen it then, but I didn't. Not even when he spent half the morning giggling at message threads. Not even when I peeked over and saw Lily sending memes about weddings. I let it go, because that's what I always did. The ceremony was stunning. Owen held my hand, smiling like everything was fine. But the moment cocktail hour hit, his demeanor shifted. His grip tightened slightly on my wrist as he pulled me aside, checking to make sure no one could overhear us. His tone dropped firm, patronizing. "Listen, Alice," he said. "Don't embarrass me tonight. Okay, this is a big deal for my family. Lily's great at mingling. She knows how to keep conversations lively. Just try to blend in." The words stung so sharply I almost forgot to breathe. "What do you mean, embarrass you?" I whispered. "I'm here with you." He sighed and rolled his eyes like I was a child missing an obvious lesson. "You know what I mean. Your job stories are, well, they're kind of dry. IT stuff isn't exactly exciting dinner conversation. And you're quiet sometimes. Lily's got all these funny sales stories. People love her energy. Just don't dominate conversations, all right?" Dominate, I barely spoke in groups. My cheeks burned with humiliation. But I nodded, because in that moment, I still loved him. "Whatever makes you happy," I said softly. Dinner seating was assigned. We were supposed to sit with his parents' siblings' prime table near the dance floor. I tried to loosen up, chatting politely with his mom. Then Owen waved me over with urgent eyes. When I reached him, Lily was standing there beside him, radiant and smug. Owen lowered his voice. "There's been a mix-up with seating," he said. "Lily got placed at a table in the back. It's awful. No one she knows is there. Can you switch with her?" I blinked. "Switch? With her?" He nodded impatiently. "She fits better here. My family adores her. You won't mind, right? It's just dinner." I stared at him, stunned. Switching meant being pushed to a table of strangers at the far end of the room, while his female best friend sat by his side, laughing with his parents, looking like she belonged where I didn't. "Owen," I whispered, "this is our table. I'm your girlfriend." He exhaled, sharply irritated. Alice, don't make this a thing. Lily's outgoing. She'll make sure everyone has a good time. You're introverted. It's fine. Plus, she just went through a breakup. She could use the family vibe tonight. His logic twisted like a knife. Her breakup trumped my relationship. Behind him, Lily smirked, just slightly, but enough for me to see she'd already won. Alice Owen pressed, folding his arms. Don't be selfish. This is my cousin's wedding. It's about family. Lily's practically family. You can survive a couple hours. And something inside me snapped, not in anger, but in clarity. If that's how you feel, I said quietly, then enjoy your night. I didn't cry. I didn't argue. I simply turned, walked through the tables, and left. I didn't look back at Owen's stunned expression, or Lily's victorious smirk, or his family whispering behind their hands. By the time I reached my car, my phone was shaking with notifications, 6 voicemails already. But I didn't listen, not yet. I drove home in absolute silence, the humiliation swirling like smoke in my chest. Why was I always the one getting pushed aside? Why wasn't I enough unless I twisted myself into someone else? Why was Lily always the standard I could never meet? One truth settled in my stomach like a stone. I wasn't the partner, I was the placeholder, and I was done pretending otherwise. When I pulled into the parking lot of my apartment that night, my phone had exploded. Missed calls, texts, voicemails, all from Owen. I sat in the car engine, still running, and finally reluctantly pressed play. Voicemail 1. Alice, what the hell? You just left. I didn't mean it like that. Lily's just better at social stuff. Call me back. Better at social stuff, like I was an awkward burden he'd been lugging around. Voicemail 2, okay, fine. Be mad. But you're ruining the night for me. My family's asking where you went. This is embarrassing. Embarrassing. Because public image mattered more than respect. Voicemail 3, Alice. Please. It's not a big deal. Lily's sitting here now, but whatever. Just talk to me. Not a big deal. Being replaced at the family table by another woman. Not a big deal. Voicemail 4. Alice, come on. I love you. Okay. Don't do this. Come back or at least pick up. Please. There it was, the word he weaponized every time he needed something. Voicemail 5. Why are you ignoring me? This hurts. I didn't think you'd overreact like this. Just talk to me. Overreact. The word men use when they don't want to admit they were cruel. Voicemail 6. Full sobbing, true or performative, I couldn't tell. Alice, what if you got into an accident? Please call me. I need to know you're okay. I messed up. I get it. Please, please, just talk to me. I listened to all of them in silence. Not one mention of how I felt. Not one moment of self-awareness. Just panic that his night wasn't going perfectly. I deleted every message, turned off my phone, walked into my apartment without looking at a single photo of us framed on the wall, and packed a small bag, closed toiletries laptop. I couldn't stomach the idea of Owen stumbling home drunk and dramatic whining about how I made him look bad. So I drove to a cheap motel with flickering neon lights and slept on a mattress that smelled like bleach and old cigarette smoke. But I slept. For the first time in weeks, I slept. The next morning, I unblocked Owen long enough to send one text, "We're done. I'll move my things out this week. Don't contact me." Then I blocked him again. No explanation, no apology, no discussion. It was the cleanest cut I'd ever made in my life. I called in sick to work, not because I was emotionally destroyed, but because I needed the space to breathe. I went to the gym for the first time in months. I pushed myself until sweat stung my eyes and my lungs burned until my head cleared. Why had I sacrificed so much for someone who gave so little back? The weekend trips I skipped, the extra shifts I picked up so he wouldn't worry about bills, the way I shrank myself to make room for his insecurities, the way I let him dim my voice until I barely recognized my own. That wasn't love, that was self-erasure. Over the next few days, I made my exits quietly. I rented a storage unit, moved my things out while Owen was at work, changed the lock code, and just like that, our shared apartment became my apartment again. We'd both signed the original lease, but when renewal came around, Owen had insisted everything be put under my name, since you're better with paperwork. I'd agreed without thinking. It seemed practical. Now I realized it was freedom disguised as responsibility. I didn't post anything on social media, didn't rant to mutual friends, didn't leave cryptic quotes or sad songs on Instagram stories. I simply disappeared from his world. Meanwhile, work became my refuge. I threw myself into a major project, volunteered for extra hours, reconnected with coworkers I'd drifted from, Started hiking again on weekends, the thing I'd given up because Owen always insisted on couple time. The silence around me wasn't lonely, it was healing. A week after the wedding disaster, updates trickled in through mutual acquaintances, people who didn't yet know we'd split. Apparently, Owen had partied hard after I left. He and Lily danced all night, laughing like the world had tilted in their favor. He even posted stories, best night ever family vibes, with Lily tagged in every clip. But perfection never lasts in those circles. Someone mentioned that Lily got too handsy on the dance floor. Someone else said Owen looked uncomfortable, but brushed it off because Lily was fun and spontaneous and oh so charming. His cousin supposedly pulled him aside to ask if everything was okay. Then things unraveled quietly at first, then dramatically. About 3 days after the wedding, Owen and Lily had a massive blowout fight. Rumor was Lily had been using the wedding as a networking opportunity for her sales job. She charmed his entire family, got business leads from 2 of his uncles, exchanged numbers with half the room, and then ghosted Owen when he tried to ask her to hang out again. When he pushed, she snapped, called him clingy, said he was emotionally suffocating, said he was only useful for getting her into social events. Then the final dagger. Screenshots of her messages surfaced among their circle. He's fun for a night, but way too serious for me. He's like boyfriend material for some boring girl. He needs stability. I don't do that. Somehow someone screenshotted them and shared them around. Owen spiraled. He called out sick from work, missed deadlines, tankered a major client project. His boss put him on probation. His family, who had witnessed the seating fiasco, finally saw him clearly. His mother, who once adored me, apparently chewed him out. How could you treat Alice like that? She was good to you. His cousin unfollowed him online. His sister stopped defending him. Friends distanced themselves. Some mutual acquaintances reached out to me with messages like, "You were too good for him. We saw the red flags but didn't know how to say anything. Lily treated him like a toy. You deserved honesty." Owen ended up crashing temporarily on his brother's couch, overspent on bars, late-night takeout, and retail therapy, dipped into his savings. His social media went dark. Meanwhile, mine blossomed quietly, not publicly, but internally. Gym routine, work stability, friends I had forgotten I loved, a clarity I didn't know I needed. Looking back, that wedding betrayal wasn't the end of something. It was the beginning of freedom. For a while, things were quiet, too quiet. The kind of quiet where you know a storm is circling just beyond view, gathering speed. For the first week after the breakup text, I kept my phone on Do Not Disturb. I went to the gym, cooked actual meals for myself, worked overtime, read books I'd abandoned months ago. I started feeling light, free, like shedding a heavy coat I'd forgotten I was wearing. But Owen, he unraveled, and he wasn't going to let me leave his orbit without a fight. It began with an unknown number calling one evening, about 10 days after the wedding. I let it go to voicemail thinking it was a client. It wasn't. His voice spilled out, trying to sound calm, but already cracking. "Alice, hey, it's me. Look, we need to talk. That seating thing was stupid. Okay, I was stressed. The wedding was chaotic. I didn't mean anything by it. Lily's just a friend. She means nothing. You overreacted by leaving like that. Call me back so we can fix this." Fix this. Like our relationship was a loose button on a shirt. I deleted it without hesitation. But Owen wasn't done. Not even close. The text started next, not from him, but from people around him. People I'd met maybe twice. Mia, his closest female coworker, Alice, he's a mess. He didn't mean to hurt you. Lily's a jerk anyway. Maybe just hear him out. Owen's brother, Daniel. Hey, Alice. My sister's crying nonstop. Mom's upset too. But come on, don't ghost him. Let's grab a beer and talk this out. A beer. With his brother, so he could convince me my humiliation was a misunderstanding. I ignored every message. Then came his mother. She called from her landline, a number I vaguely recognized from holiday invitations. I considered ignoring it. But what if something bad happened? Someone was hurt. I answered. "Alice," she began sharply. "This is ridiculous." Her tone made my spine stiffen. "Mrs. Miller, is something wrong?" "Yes, you," she snapped. "Owen told us what happened." Switching seats. "That's nothing to end a relationship over. You're being childish," he apologized. "Come over for dinner and talk it out. We all make mistakes." I inhaled slowly, staring at the wall. "With all due respect, your son made his choices. I'm moving on." Her breath hissed audibly. Moving on. After everything he's been through, Lily was just being friendly. You're going to throw away 2 years over jealousy. Think about his feelings, Alice. His feelings. Not a whisper about mine. I hung up, blocked her number. 5 minutes later, his aunt messaged me on social media. Blood is thicker than water, Alice. Don't be the villain here. Fix things with Owen. I blocked her too. Every boundary I reinforced, they tried to bulldoze. And then Owen escalated. One night around 11 p.m., someone pounded on my apartment door. I froze. Alice Owen's muffled voice cracked through the wood. Alice, I know you're in there. Please, please open up. I backed into the hallway, heart pounding, silently praying he wouldn't try the handle. I messed up. Okay, Lily's a jerk. She ditched me after the wedding, called me needy, said I wasn't fun enough. You were right, about everything. Let's talk, I miss you. We can fix this. We can go back to how we were. Back to being a placeholder, a backup plan, a safe option until someone more exciting came along. No, I didn't answer. He alternated between pleading and crying, knocking and pacing. After 20 minutes, he left. Or at least I thought he did. I didn't exhale until I heard the stairwell door shut. I collapsed on my couch and stared at the ceiling. I had never felt more relieved that I'd changed the locks. A few days later, the desperation turned to rage. Another unknown number, another voicemail. But this one was different. His voice was sharp, bitter, shaking with indignation. You think you can just ignore me after everything I put up with? Your routines, your safe little life, your boring habits. I chose you anyway, and now you're acting like I'm the bad guy. Lily was a mistake, okay? But you're overreacting. You blocked me everywhere, seriously. Pick up your phone or I'll show up at your job. We need to settle this. There it was, the truth. He wasn't sorry about the humiliation. He wasn't sorry he replaced me at his family table. He wasn't sorry I walked out. He was sorry he lost control. I saved that voicemail just in case and deleted the rest. His next attempt came in the form of a long email, the kind that starts off apologetic, then veers into self-pity, blame, nostalgia, and manipulation. He wrote about how he'd grown from this, about how Lily crossed boundaries he didn't realize, about how his family was making him feel awful, about how stress made him say things the wrong way, about how I should have spoken up more clearly if I felt hurt. And then, I deserve a second chance. Don't you still love me? No, I didn't. And seeing it in front of me made the truth settle deeper, like a stone finding its natural place at the bottom of a river. Owen's desperation confirmed what I'd suspected for weeks. I hadn't lost something precious. I'd escaped something corrosive. Friends, real friends, told me more over the next few days. Owen missed a major client deadline. His boss threatened suspension. He stopped showing up to scheduled meetings. He spent nights out drinking with anyone who'd listen to his sob story. Most stopped after the second round. His family slowly backed away. Even Daniel texted me once. You were right. He handled everything terribly. I hope you're okay. That surprised me. But the biggest shift came when Lily resurfaced only long enough to post a story of herself at yet another rooftop bar with a new group of besties. Owen wasn't in a single photo, not even a tag. People like her never look back. They only leap to the next thrill. By the end of that month, the flood of messages finally stopped. Not because Owen found closure, but because he had no energy left to chase me. And for the first time in years, I could breathe without tiptoeing around someone else's moods, insecurities, and entitlement. What Owen saw as abandonment, I saw as deliverance. Silence wasn't my punishment. Silence was my salvation. 3 months passed. 3 months of quiet healing, steady work days, early morning hikes, and rediscovering pieces of myself I'd forgotten I loved. My apartment felt different now, lighter, cleaner mine. No more tripping over Owen's messy stacks of clothes, no more hearing his keyboard clacking at 2 a.m, because inspiration struck no more tense silences hanging in the kitchen. My life was mine again. And strangely, it was beautiful. I'd been promoted at work too, lead consultant on a major project. My boss said she'd noticed how focused I'd become, how sharp my problem solving had gotten. It turns out that not pouring emotional energy into a black hole makes you significantly better at your job. I wasn't rushing into anything new, but on one of my hikes, I met Adam, a marketing coordinator from a nearby company. He was calm, easygoing, soft-spoken in a way that didn't demand attention, but held space for me to fill with my own voice. We started grabbing coffee after weekend trails, then dinners, then movie nights. Slow, gentle, no drama. It felt normal. And after years with Owen, normal felt like a miracle. We weren't official yet, but we were something honest. One Saturday evening, my friend Maya invited me to her birthday party at a small bar downtown. Low lighting, soft music, a few tables pushed together. Nothing extravagant. Just friends, laughter, and warmth. I arrived with Adam. He brought her a bouquet of sunflowers, and Maya declared him an immediate upgrade from literally anyone Alice has ever dated. I laughed, but part of me felt a quiet ache. Not sadness, just the echo of an old wound. We sat, ordered drinks, mingled. The evening flowed easily. For the first time in ages, I felt present. Not guarded, not anxious, just alive. I didn't notice the shift in the room until I heard someone whisper, Owen. My stomach tightened. I looked toward the entrance, and there he was, standing in the doorway, scanning the room until his eyes found me. He looked worn. The kind of worn that comes from exhaustion, layered over heartbreak, layered over refusal to take responsibility for your own actions. His hair was unkempt, his shirt wrinkled, his expression a forced half-smile. He hadn't been invited. He'd shown up anyway. And the moment he saw me standing next to Adam, his face faltered. I felt Adam shift slightly closer, not possessive, just protective, present. Owen approached slowly like he was walking through the ghost of our past. He stopped in front of us. Alice, hey, he said, voice trembling. Can we talk privately? Adam glanced at me, giving me space to decide. I shook my head gently. No, Owen, there's nothing we need to talk about. But he pressed on eyes, pleading even in front of my date, my friends, and every witness in the room. Please, Alice, please, I need to explain. I took a breath, grounding myself. There's nothing left to explain. But Owen wasn't listening. He never had. Alice, I've been a wreck, he said louder now. You were right about everything. Lily screwed me over. She yelled at me, ghosted me, used me for networking at the wedding. I lost friends. My job's on thin ice. I realized what I had with you. I was stupid. Please, let me make it up to you. We can start over. The desperation in his voice clung to every word. But it wasn't love speaking. It was loss. Loss of control. Loss of convenience. Loss of the stability I'd once provided. He wasn't mourning me. He was mourning what I did for him. I looked him in the eyes, steady, unshaken. You made your priorities clear that night, I said softly. You chose someone else to sit beside your family. You made room for someone who wasn't me. He swallowed, looking around as if the whole room was watching. They were. That was a mistake, he said quickly. Lily didn't mean anything. You know I care about you. No, Owen. My voice didn't waver. You cared about how I made you look. You cared about having someone stable when life got messy. You cared about convenience, but you didn't care about me. His jaw trembled. Alice, please. I love you. Doesn't that mean anything? It didn't hurt to hear it. It didn't heal either. It simply felt irrelevant, like reading a chapter I already finished. I shook my head. What it means, I said quietly, is that you've learned a lesson. But my life has moved on, and it's not my job to help you rebuild what you destroyed. Owen blinked rapidly, glancing at Adam as if only now realizing he wasn't alone in this conversation. And him? Owen asked bitterly. You're with this guy now. Adam didn't flinch. He simply placed a steady hand on the back of my chair. I met Owen's gaze without shame. He treats me with respect, I said. That's the difference. For the first time, something broke, really broke across Owen's expression. Humiliation, regret, recognition. He wasn't the hero of this scene. He was the cautionary tale. His voice cracked as he whispered, "But I need you." I shook my head gently. "I don't need you." Silence washed between us, heavy and final. Owen's shoulders slumped. He muttered something under his breath. Maybe I'm sorry. Maybe. This is unfair, and walked out of the bar. No dramatic exit, no last-ditch speech. Just a tired man disappearing into a night he couldn't control. I didn't chase him. I didn't feel triumphant. I didn't feel cruel. I just felt free. After he left, the tension faded like smoke and wind. The party resumed. Maya ordered another round. Adam squeezed my hand, asking quietly, "You okay?" I smiled, really smiled. "Yeah," I said, "I'm more than okay." And I meant it. Months later, I heard murmurs through the grapevine. Owen was still single. His work performance had dipped. His family kept a polite distance. Lily had moved on to a new circle, new adventures, new faces to charm. His life never fully recovered from the night I walked away. But mine did. I kept growing, kept healing, kept choosing myself. And the best part, I finally stopped apologizing for taking up space. That night at the wedding didn't break me. It revealed me. And once I saw my worth clearly, I never looked back.